All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Second Opinion Loan Officer podcast. Depending on where you are consuming this, it's either a podcast. We also have a YouTube channel. So there are some slides and some notes here that usually just aids to move it along. I'm trying not to put too much information in here. You should be able to listen to these episodes and get the whole story. But really, all of this just leads to our Second Opinion Loan Officer community, where we are a community of content creators that that have discussions about tips, tricks, and strategies about this particular way of future-proofing your business using content marketing and educating and informing consumers that are have questions about qualifying for a mortgage on the internet. So this episode is really to kind of talk to you about what is a second opinion specialist, or what is a second opinion loan officer, and what that really means. So if you're just seeing this for the first time and this is the only episode that you watched, episode 1 in the podcast on the YouTube channel is kind of my background and how I got into this, and how I became a second opinion specialist. But now I'm really want to kind of unpack this and talk about why this is so important right now. And why this is so important is because there is a forgotten demographic out there of consumers that are looking to get information about qualifying for a mortgage. Every single day, there are literally thousands of consumers that go online looking for a second opinion about qualifying for a mortgage. And how consumers search for those mortgages is one of two, or for those questions, or for those answers to their questions, is one of two ways. They're either going to YouTube, which is the #1 search engine in the world for anyone under 35 years, or 35 years old or under right now, or they're going to Google, which is the #1 search engine in the world, literally for everyone else. Now, the reason why this is so important is because when you're able to be found on YouTube and Google, the consumer already knows what their question is, and they're typing in their question into the search bar looking to get answers to that specific question. And if you've created a piece of content that is about that topic, your content is going to pop up. Even if you've only created one video and there's one human being out there on the planet that ask the exact question about your one video, your video is going to connect and it's going to show for that one consumer. And that is the demographic that we are talking about, or that we're trying to address here. So fact check true. Consumers do not go online because they want to fill out a lead form and get pounded by telemarketers for the next 3 days. A consumer's options are literally limited to the effort or the experience with the loan officer that they end up with. They're going online, they have questions, because there's billions of dollars being spent every single year to convince consumers that the way you get your questions answered about qualifying for a mortgage is to complete a lead form online. They're getting sucked into this black box. They have no idea who they're going to be connected with. It lands on some kid's desk in a call center, and it doesn't go well. We know that less than 4% of online consumers close with the lender that paid for that lead. And there are literally thousands, tens of thousands of leads probably, or at least thousands of leads every single day, lead forms that are being filled out, and less than 4% of those leads are getting a loan. So that means up to 96, 98% of all of those consumers are going back online to YouTube, going back online to Google, asking more detailed questions, trying to get answers to the answers to the questions that they have about qualifying for a mortgage. And this is a huge opportunity for us. So how do we serve this demographic? How do we get in front of this tidal wave of consumers that are getting disappointed, pounded, or not even getting called back at all when they filled out a lead form? Well, we serve this community by being found on Google and YouTube after the consumers have had a bad experience with a call center. Let me rephrase that, because this might be hard to wrap your head around. Everybody wants exclusive leads. Everybody wants to be first to talk to somebody. I get that, but it's hard. It's hard online because we don't have the same budget as your Quickens and your Lending Trees and your these big lead aggregators that their only job is to generate leads. We don't necessarily have the chops. We don't have a way to get in front of them necessarily. So what we're doing is this particular strategy is to get in front again, get found on Google and YouTube after the consumer has had a bad experience. We already know they're going to get stuck with one of these. They're going to end up filling out a lead form because that's what's going to come up first in the search engines. They're going to fill out a lead form and they're going to be disappointed and they're going to go back online. And that is the market we're going after, the second opinion loan officer, second opinion, giving second opinions to consumers that have questions about qualifying for a mortgage. So these consumers, after they go back, after they fill out the lead form, after they talk to a telemarketer that knows less about mortgages than they do, they're going back online and they're typing in detailed questions looking for a second opinion because they didn't have a good experience the first time. So how do you become a second opinion specialist so that you can be found? It's simple, but it can be complex. And simply, it is sharing your experience and your expertise on video. You post that video to YouTube, you transcribe the video as a blog post, and you share those videos and blog posts on social media. It's not that complicated. So the key to success in doing this is consistency, because this is a long game and a lot of loan officers are trained and we're just kind of hardwired for instant gratification, right? We want to put in a quarter and get out a gumball. We want to get a lead and we want to open up a refinance. And it doesn't happen that way all the time with content marketing. Content marketing is a long game that builds over time, but once it builds, it really turns into a consistent flow of business that really doesn't stop regardless of what the market is. Sometimes during bad markets, you're going to get even more leads and more opportunities when you're creating content consistently and investing in this long game strategy. Now, the payoff for this, the reason why you would do this, if you haven't seen episode 1, I kind of talk about my background story, my origin story, and how I became a second opinion loan officer, how I discovered that this demographic was rich with loans, rich with folks that qualify for a mortgage, but they got stuck on the desk of somebody that didn't care or didn't have enough experience. But right now, the payoff for all of this is that the most engaged audience wins when markets shift. So what we're talking about when I'm talking about content marketing is content marketing puts you out there into the universe, onto YouTube and Google, which quite frankly is the universe for online consumers, so that you can earn their trust by showing that you have expertise in the area that they have questions about, and then you're getting them into your database. Now, maybe you can't help them today, but you've got them in your database, and so then you can nurture them. You can continue to send send them all of your other content. Every time you create a video or write a blog post, you're going to put that in front of them, and you're going to keep them engaged until they're ready to buy, or until market conditions shift in such a way that there's a huge demand. And hopefully, if you have content about that particular demand, you're going to get that traffic. So he or she who has the biggest database when this market shifts is going to win. Again, I alluded to episode 1 where I talk about my origin story. I started blogging about 15 years ago. I started creating content. It was blogging, writing articles at first, and then it turned into video in about 2015. And today we get over 25,000 unique visitors a month that come to our website with questions about qualifying for a mortgage. And well into the high 90% of these folks have been turned down or told no or had a bad experience with another loan officer after they filled out a lead form online. And again, their options were limited to the person that they got stuck with after they filled out the lead form. So I absolutely can assure you that this strategy works, but it takes time. But that's exactly what this podcast is about. That's exactly what this YouTube channel is about. That is exactly what this Second Opinion Loan Officer community is about. And that is exactly what the Find My Way Home Expert Network is about. So I call this the ultimate referral machine. When you are a second opinion loan officer publishing content about your experience and your expertise, every time you create a piece of content, you are cloning yourself. And when you publish those clones on YouTube and on Google, so it can be found on YouTube and it can be found on Google, when you do that, all of those clones are referring business from you to you for every guideline, situation, and scenario that you specialize in. Let me say that again, because this is very, very important. When you create content, you are creating an army of clones. When you deploy those clones so that you can be discovered or found on YouTube and Google, then you are going to be referring business from you to you for every guideline, situation, or scenario that you've created content on. So you're literally handcrafting the exact kind of traffic and the exact type of questions about the exact topics that you specialize in, because these folks are responding to your content that you're publishing. And when you publish consistently, consumers see that, and if you don't have to solve their problem with every single piece of content you send out, but what you are doing is establishing yourself as a problem solver that anybody can see. Your referral partners, other loan officers you're trying to recruit, consumers that have questions about qualifying for a mortgage. All of this ties in together. All of this contributes to you creating a consistent inbound stream of business and opportunities, because you have built the ultimate referral machine, because you are sharing your experience and your expertise, and because you can be found online. This is a quick example of what it looks like to be a second opinion specialist. So David Zai, and we'll have David on one of these podcasts because he is just a superb superb example of somebody that just started creating content. He's a member of the Find My Way Home Expert Network. So all of this is done for him. We're a done for you solution. I'll tell you a little bit about that. You can get more information on that in the show notes. But this is what I want to show you. If you're listening to this, you're not going to be able to see this slide, but basically, a second opinion is different than a lead. What we do is we ask the consumers, we don't have them fill out a lead form necessarily. We ask them, what questions do you have about qualifying for a mortgage? And this screenshot that I'm showing on the video, David did a video that says, does it make sense to refinance now? Right? I mean, that's a question that everybody's going to have with interest rates rising here in 2022. And this was what came back. This is the question that came back from the consumer. This consumer watched David's video and reached out directly to David and said, I'm looking to do a cash out refinance, and I'm not sure which is the best solution for my situation. And then this consumer wrote a paragraph. It says, hello, I'm trying to do a cash out refinance. I don't know if I should do a HELOC or if I should do a cash out. My current interest rate is 3.625. My current loan balance is $213,000. My house value is roughly $375 to $400. I have a $50,000 IRS tax debt. I tried to do an offer and compromise. It was turned down by the IRS, and I have $24,000 in credit card debt that has high interest rates on it that I would like to pay off. That's not a lead. That is a consumer that watched David's video, knows, likes, and trusts David, and gave him everything that he needs. So yes, this turned into a loan. David has been creating videos at a pretty rapid pace for about 18 months now, and David will get anywhere from 9 to a dozen of these direct contacts from his videos directly to him with detailed questions like this, asking David to provide a solution for their specific problem. And that's what it means to be a second opinion loan officer, is doing the things and having the strategies for consistently putting yourself out there, capturing that information, converting those conversations into clients and commissions. So if you are the do-it-yourself type, I created a free community where you can engage with me, you can engage with David, you can engage with other content creators that are all learning how to future-proof their business and their pipeline by being content creators. This community, the solo community, can be found at findmywayhome.com/solo. That's SOLO. Stands for Second Opinion Loan Officer. So again, it's findmywayhome.com/solo. Or you can hit that QR code there. And I have hours and hours of do-it-yourself video to teach you exactly how to do it yourself. Also, we have a done-for-you content marketing solution, which is the Find My Way Home Expert Network. We will not only inspire you and tell you which topics are popular, which topics that I anticipate are going to be very popular, that are going to get a lot of traffic, where the gaps are, where the demand is, and there's not a lot of solutions for consumers with call centers. That part is free in the community. I'll give you all the content ideas you could ever hope for. The done for you solution is when you're trying to when we're going to help you create these videos. We have a professional director. So creating your videos is just like a Zoom call. We have a professional director that's going to draw your stories and your experience out of you. We're going to produce that into a video. We're going to publish that video on Find My Way Home in front of tens of thousands of consumers a month. We're going to promote that video for you. We're going to pixel that content so that you're following those folks around the internet. We're going to capture their questions about qualifying for a mortgage. We're going to follow up on those leads, and we're going to follow up on them for you. So all you have to do is return phone calls, meet calendar appointments, or respond to texts or emails. And then if the consumer's not ready to buy now, we're going to nurture those leads for you over time by continuing to put your content in front of them so that they always know that you're there to help them when they are ready. So that's it. That is a second opinion specialist. That's how you become a second opinion specialist. You don't necessarily need our help, but we are here to help you. If you want to do it yourself, that is the free solo community. And if you're listening to the podcast, all of these links are in the show notes. I have links to the free community, links to get more information about joining the network. And I have a link there to my Calendly, a Calendly link, so that you can schedule a Zoom call for me if this whole thing is just confusing and you have questions about whether or not it works for you. So thanks again for listening to this episode. This is a little bit of a foundational episode. These first two episodes here are to kind of tell you why I'm doing this and why it's so important. Most of the content that I'm going to be sharing from here on out are going to be content ideas and topics that you should be covering, and video ideas and how to help convert those, and quite frankly, how to build your database during this market where there's just a lot of uncertainty out there. So thanks for joining me. If you stuck through this to the end, congratulations. I hope you found this valuable. I got a lot more where this came from. I got 20 years of experience and ideas that I'm going to be sharing here every single week. So I hope you join us. And again, thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.